What if the key to creating your best work was to completely forget about your audience? That sounds counterintuitive, maybe even selfish. But Rick Rubin, the man behind some of the most iconic albums in history, lives by exactly this principle. And once you hear his reasoning, you won't be able to unsee it. Most creators are trapped in a loop. They post something, check the metrics, adjust their next piece based on what performed, and slowly, without even realizing it, they stop creating and start performing. They're no longer making art, they're making content optimized for approval. Rubin figured out the escape from that trap decades ago, and it's simpler and more radical than you'd expect. The Rubin philosophy. In a recent interview on Lewis Howes' School of Greatness podcast, Rubin was asked whether he ever faces that inner critic, the voice that whispers, "What if other people don't like this?" His answer was blunt. No, he doesn't consider them at all. Not minimize, not manage, not occasionally silence. Don't consider them at all. Let that land for a second. This is a man who has shaped the sound of modern music across 5 decades. Hip-hop, heavy metal, country, rock, rap. He's produced legends in every genre. And his secret isn't some sophisticated audience research methodology. It's the complete absence of it. He goes further. He's not making it for them. He's making it for himself. And here's where it gets genuinely profound. In his book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being, Rubin states that the audience comes last. Not because the audience is unimportant, but because when you make something truly for yourself, you're actually doing the best thing you possibly can for the audience. That's the paradox at the heart of great creative work. Authentic selfishness in the creative process produces the most universally resonant output. The more you try to please everyone, the more you please no one. The more deeply you honor your own vision, the more powerfully you connect with the people who were always meant to find your work. This isn't a new idea, it's just a forgotten one. Why most creators get this backwards? Here's what the algorithm-chasing mindset does to a creator over time. You start with a genuine spark, something you're excited about, something that feels alive. You share it. Then you look at the numbers. Maybe it didn't perform the way you hoped, so you pivot slightly. You make something a little safer, a little more palatable. The numbers improve marginally. You pivot again and again. 6 months later, you're making content that has almost nothing to do with what originally excited you. You've optimized yourself out of your own voice. And ironically, the work is less interesting, because audiences can feel the absence of genuine conviction. They can't always articulate it, but they feel it. The metrics told you to zig, but your creative soul needed to zag, and you listened to the metrics. Rubin's framework is the antidote. When your inner compass is the only compass, you can't drift. You can evolve, deliberately, organically, but you can't be pulled off course by the noise of external validation. Here's where it gets interesting, and where it's worth bringing in something from the Polymath Protocol itself. In the Polymath Protocol, the framework built for multidimensional creators, there's a section called the organic offer. And on the surface, it might sound like the opposite of what Rubin is saying. The organic offer asks you to track what people repeatedly ask you for, to pay attention to recurring questions, pain points, recurring demand, to let the market tell you what it needs from you. So which is it? Create for yourself or listen to the market? Both, but sequence matters enormously. Rubin is talking about the act of creation, the moment you sit down to make something. In that moment, imagined audience reactions are poison. They corrupt the work before it even exists. The inner critic that asks, "What if they don't like this?" is the enemy of everything authentic and therefore everything great. The organic offer operates at a completely different stage, after the authentic work exists, after you've created from your real obsessions, your genuine curiosity, your lived experience. Then you listen. Then you pay attention to what the market is pulling toward. Then you package and position accordingly. Creation first, market second. Always in that order. And actually, the Polymath Protocol has another framework that makes this even clearer. The pleasure first pivot. It's simple. Start with what you love, not what you think will sell. That is Rubin's philosophy translated directly into a business framework. It's not anti-market, it's pre-market. You establish your authentic foundation first, and then you build the offer on top of it. The mistake most people make is trying to do it in reverse. They ask what the market wants, then try to manufacture enthusiasm for it. And audiences feel that emptiness immediately. The polymath problem specifically. Now here's why this matters even more if you're a multidimensional creator, a polymath. The pressure to narrow down is relentless. Specialists will tell you to pick a lane. The algorithm will reward consistency in a single niche. Every piece of conventional creator advice is built around the assumption that focus equals success. And if you're someone who genuinely operates across multiple domains, who can't stop connecting ideas across art and science, philosophy and business, culture and technology, that advice will slowly suffocate you. The constellation effect, the first framework in the Polymath Protocol, exists to counter exactly this. It asks you to map all of your facets, not to narrow them, but to find where they amplify each other. Because your range isn't the problem. The way you've been taught to think about your range is the problem. Rubin proves this. He hasn't succeeded despite moving across genres. He succeeded because of it. His taste, built from an extraordinarily wide range of influences, is precisely what makes his creative instincts so reliable. Specificity of self, not specificity of genre, is what creates timeless work. The Polymath Protocol is built on the same premise. Your range is not a disadvantage, it's your differentiation. Your ability to synthesize across disciplines is not common. It's exactly what the market pays a premium for. But you have to create from it authentically first, before you can monetize it effectively. That's the bridge between Rubin's philosophy and the work we do here. The deeper principle, specificity is universality. There's a reason Rubin has worked with everyone from Johnny Cash to Jay-Z, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to Adele. It's not genre expertise. He'd be the first to admit he's not a technical musician. It's that he brings the same inner compass to every project. His taste, his instincts, his relentless standards, anchored in his own honest response to the work. That consistency, rooted in self-referential creation, is what makes work transcendent across audiences, genres, and generations. The principle is counterintuitive but battle-tested. Your specificity is your universality. The more precisely you create from your own genuine vision, without smoothing the edges to make it more palatable, the more powerfully it lands for people who resonate with that vision. Generic work finds no one. Deeply specific work finds its people with almost magnetic precision. Think about the creators, artists, or thinkers who have genuinely moved you. Chances are they weren't trying to appeal to everyone. They were almost aggressively themselves. And that's exactly why they got through to you. This is also why the Polymath Protocol closes with a line that sits at the core of this work. The world doesn't need another specialist. It needs your specific synthesis. That synthesis, the one that only you can produce, from the unique intersection of everything you are, is both the most authentic thing you can offer and the most valuable thing the market is hungry for. Rubin knew this. He just called it something different. He called it making it for himself. What this means for your own creative life. So how do you actually apply this? Start by noticing the moments when you edit yourself before you even begin. When you think, I won't include that, it's too niche, or I should probably cover this topic because it'll get more views. Those are the moments Rubin would tell you to pay attention to, because what you almost cut is often what makes the work worth keeping. Ask yourself, if no one ever saw this, would you still want to make it? If the answer is yes, make it exactly that way. Then, and only then, do you bring in the market lens. Look at what you've made. Look at what people are consistently asking you for. Find the intersection, where your genuine obsessions meet recurring real-world demand. That intersection is where the organic offer lives. That's where the Polymath Protocol begins. But the creative act itself has to come first. Pure, uncompromised, made for you. The goal isn't to ignore your audience forever. It's to protect the act of creation from being corrupted by the anticipation of their judgment. Make it honestly. Then share it, engage, listen, iterate. But don't let the fear of their reaction shape what you make before it exists. That's the discipline. And it's harder than it sounds in a world that gives you real-time feedback on everything. Rick Rubin has produced more timeless work than almost anyone alive. And his secret isn't talent, or connections, or even taste, though he has all three. His secret is that he never stopped creating for himself first. That's the foundation this channel is built on too. The neural conditioning, the polymath frameworks, the creative inspiration. None of it works if it's reverse engineered from what the audience wants to hear. It only works because it comes from genuine obsession, from things that can't be ignored, from a refusal to narrow down. Create for yourself first. Build the offer second. Trust the paradox. If any of this felt like something you've been trying to say for a long time, welcome. This is the space for that. Subscribe and come build with us. We're just getting started.